Okay, I think I will be obviously dealing with people joining us. And very good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is third meeting, 60 minutes InterManager meeting. As you know, we are alternating time. Today is 10 o'clock UK because we wanted people from Manila, Singapore, Hong Kong to join us. But I am so impressed with our American friends as well joining us very early in the morning. In 2 weeks' time, it will be 1400 UK time, a bit better for Americans and obviously terrible for Far East people. Once again, thank you very much. We've got agenda which is not as packed as I was hoping for, so maybe even we will finish a bit earlier today. Depends on the discussions. And the recording is on. I'm warning you again, recording is on. And I'm passing on to our president, Mark O'Neill. Mark, over to you, please, with updates.
Morning, everyone. Hopefully you're all well. Where are we on the update? Well, you've seen hopefully some positive press in Lloyd's List and various other publications through Elaborate. They've gone out fairly strongly on our drive, so there's been some good press reports on that. We've had Synergy and OSM confirm membership. We've got a holding pattern from Marlow. We've got a holding pattern from Wallam. I'm confident that Wallam will join. I had a good conversation with Anglo Eastern this morning. So I think with a little bit of encouragement and arm twisting, I don't know which will come more, Anglo Eastern will join too, and we will get the membership up. I've also had some pretty discouraging conversations with certain managers, I hasten to add, and you know, there is that actually encourages me more that we have a lot of work to do for this industry. You know, there is a certain selfish element out there that is fine as long as they're fine and doing well, that's fine, and there's no regard for the future or for the sector and the standard of the sector itself. So I think there's, if ever I needed encouragement, then
Mark,
I've certainly got it from
Mark. I need to tell Bank Cristobal, could you mute yourself? Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
So I think there's a mountain to climb, certainly, but I think we're on the right road, and I think the key players will come on board. And of course, I would ask all of you. I always say this within Colombia as well. Selling is not anybody's monopoly. Please, all of you, full members and associate members, please go out there and sell the benefits of InterManager as was, as is, and as will be, because it's vitally important that this association has real traction and gains real traction, and we'll only do that if we attract and bring in as wide a variety of ship managers, but also suppliers and service providers to the ship management industry as possible. So please, you know, I don't mind, Kuba doesn't mind, if you pass on anyone to us to persuade them to join, or you do it yourself. You know, we're all responsible, and it is our association. It's not Kuba's association, it's not my association, it's all of ours, and we all have to go out there and attract the membership which we need. But we're going in the right way, and I think as long as we keep to our promises, primarily this standard, then it becomes a compelling reason to join our association, because as the press reports, and I tried to make clear in the press report, if you are a professional organization and if there is a standard worth keeping, then why wouldn't you want to be part of it? You'd have to ask yourself some pretty serious questions. It's certainly not the joining fee that will dissuade an organization from coming on board. So I think it's going in the right direction. I've also reached out to one or two oil majors and one or two of the major owners, international owners, to get them to join, where there is an obviously in any major operator owning, there is an in-house management as well, and we need to attract the in-house managers who can help us, all of us, get to a better standard and pass and swap and exchange information as appropriate. So I think once we get the oil majors and some of these big operators on board as well, because again, why wouldn't it be of their interest that ship management and the association members improve their standards, we will attract many, many more, and they will be coming in much more quickly as a result of that. Enough on membership, but please, I emphasize again, it's not just down to me and to Kuba, it's down to each and every one of you. Some of you will be far better salespersons than we are to attract more members, both on the associate and on the full level. It should be a broad church of all all of the various component parts of our industry, including on the supplier and service providers. This week we looked at GDPR, Kuba, or last week and the week before we looked at GDPR as a topic to launch this exchange of information. It was felt, and I know it's one of the topics for today, but it was felt by our own compliance department within Colombia that there are certain sensitive issues relating to GDPR which we as Colombia would not want to put our heads above the parapet and exchange views with the regulatory authorities. And that is precisely the role our people in Colombia felt that InterManager should do, where then the response would not be focused just against one company or against a particular number of companies, but against an association. So these concerns have been raised. They're very valid concerns. Of course, InterManager has huge, managers have huge data protection issues on a day-to-day operational basis. And I think Kuba's going to talk later on about forming a committee to take this further forward, not just in relation to what questions do we put to the regulatory authorities, but also what information and knowledge we can swap amongst ourselves to help us get to a fully GDPR compliant status. It's no point all of us reinventing this wheel if some of us have gone further down this road than others, and there's lots of really good issues there which can be tackled. That was really a pilot as to one of these issues that we should be, as an association, discussing amongst ourselves, and there's plenty more. I, for instance, would like to also throw sanctions into the pot. As a lawyer, and having advised clients on sanction compliance and having advised managers on sanction compliance, we really need to adopt a common policy on what is the manager's position. Let's say it's a technical manager and a crew manager, where a commercial operator finds itself possibly in a questionable sanction situation. And how far can we be said to have facilitated any breach of sanctions? And we really need to explore this and establish safeguards. And what is the manager's position when it becomes apparent that the client is willingly or unwittingly in a breach of sanction position? It would be useful to explore that and what we all have to watch out for. So sanctions is one thing, and another topic I would also like some clarity on as an association is what is the association's view on vaccinations, and whether, albeit that most of us are subscribers to the Neptune declaration, what is the position perhaps in the likely scenario that a particular government doesn't afford vaccinations worldwide for crew, or whether the crew's governments are slower in providing those vaccinations? What is the association's position as regards the companies themselves going on the commercial market and providing vaccinations themselves for their crew? I was quite surprised during a recent conference when I said that Colombia had looked into, notwithstanding the fact that we fully support the Neptune Declaration, Colombia was, as a backstop, looking into sourcing vaccinations commercially for its Filipino crew for July, August, September of this year, subject to those supplies being available. And someone said, well, actually, you know, we've all got to stand together on this according to the Neptune Declaration. I said, well, that's got nothing to do with the Neptune Declaration. The Neptune Declaration is, yes, government should do it, but what if they don't? In the likely scenario that they don't, we're already seeing in the EU what's happening in relation to AstraZeneca. The likelihood is that some countries won't or will be unable to provide their crews with vaccinations. So what should we do? What stance should we take as an association? And what stance should the members take vis-a-vis their crews? So these are issues that you know, perhaps we should take a position on as an association. As far as the standard is concerned, there's huge interest on this, and I have written to BIMCO, I've written to Intertanko about this approach that we are going to be adopting. It is welcomed by all of the other associations, and it's something that we must do as quickly as possible, and without making it too complex. And as I said before, making this it has to be a living document as we go forward that can be flexible according to the changes in the industry. I think what I've asked for in the past is that we start work on this by the beginning of next month, which will give me the opportunity to get the Anglo-Easterns and the fleets, etc., on board, because they will certainly want to be part of this. It's of course, it's of massive interest to them. This shouldn't be just a big person's club. It should be a broad, again, using the word broad church, whatever committee that is established, and I leave it to Cuba to put that together. It should be a broad church, not just of the big, but the medium and the small, and also associate members, because there's no monopoly on good ideas, as we all know, and this has to be kept simple, but has to be persuasive. And certainly some of the larger companies will, of course, want to be part of that process, as equally will some of the clients, in inverted commas, the oil majors or the big operators who join in the future. So I would hope that we can get a committee together by the beginning of next month, and then really look to get this done by summer or by the end of summer, and be very open about the fact that this can be amended and adapted as we go forward. But this is something that is of real keen interest. And what's come out of my discussions with some of the companies that are not members so far is that they want us to have teeth. These standards have to have teeth to them as well. So we must consider, as part of this process, setting up an inspectorate. If we get the members we intend to get, then hopefully we'll have the resources to do that. But that we have an inspectorate division of InterManager that actually not polices, because that's the wrong word, but just ensures that we are abiding by the standard properly. And what happens if we don't abide by it? Then there has to be some form of warning, recommendation, and ultimately sanction too. So I think that's important, because otherwise it just becomes a toothless standard, which and loses credibility as a result. So I think we need to get started. We'll get started at the beginning of next month, but please, if you haven't communicated to Cuba already as far as committee members on that, please do so, and let's create something that is simple, flexible, persuasive, and something we can be proud of. And hopefully, coming back in full circle to my comments at the beginning, when someone then says, I don't give a damn about the industry as long as we're doing all right, then this is something that will prove them wrong, and will hopefully attract more of the 70% of the shipping industry that doesn't use managers to see the compelling benefits of ship management to the shipping sector. So that's where we are. Over to you, Cuba.
Okay, Mark, thank you very much for that. We had few questions actually when you were speaking. On the sanctions, for example, I think there is an appetite, and I can see, Henrik, I see your hand, but give me a chance. Are you considering discussion further, or shall I bring it as a separate item now? Or you just floating this idea now to be discussed? How would you like to deal with it?
You're talking to me?
Yes, Mark, I'm talking to you.
I think what I would like, in the same way that you've got a GDPR group, maybe we can have a sanctions group, and again, happy for Colombia to throw its hat into the ring on this. We've done and do a lot on sanctions. We can get together a small team, and they can discuss amongst themselves and circulate any papers they want to do. This is not to create committees, and the last thing we want to do is have 100 different committees, but that there should be individuals who have common interests and want to pursue these issues further for the benefit of for them all. So for all of the membership. So as with GDPR, I think I think our Marinos will lead that committee, because they've got the paper on it. Kuba, you're going to talk about how that particular group will be run, but I think sanctions should be on the same basis.
Perfect. And I'm asking because some other people are asking, this is all new to us, the standard of our meetings and so on and so forth. So people are just testing the waters and saying, okay, we've got some other ideas as well. And I am canvassing those ideas and then floating them during those meetings. Hendrik, you've got a hand up, please, but you are muted at the moment. Unmute yourself, please.
So now you can also hear me. Mark, can you please elaborate a little bit more on these standards? What is the scope of it and so on? I mean, I was thinking before this meeting, how it's going to be enforced? Yeah. So now you say there will be an audit unit, or policing, or not policing, but some audit unit and so on. And what additional standards are you thinking about? I'm not against. I think it's a good idea, but I'd just like to hear a little bit more on what it is, and also this will involve costs. Yeah. So do you believe our clients will be willing to share that?
Yeah. I think, Henrik, I don't know whether you were on the previous meetings where I sort of outlined my own vision for this standard, for what it's worth, and it's worth nothing, because at the end of the day, the standard is your or our standard, and we have to put it together. But the way I see this is that when I came into this business, I was appalled by the low regard that ship management is held by the ship owners, the commodity traders, the banks, the oil majors. There is a huge cowboy element to this industry, which is driving the value down into right into the depths, and we will end up in 2 or 3 or 4 years with 5 or 6 of the big boys, or big persons, being PC, left, and the rest will simply fade away. That's not good for the industry. There is a place for all sizes and denominations of ship manager within this industry, and we have 25% or 30% of the shipping sector is served by third-party ship management. The rest isn't, and that's our challenge, not to cut each other's throats and drive ourselves down into the mire for that 30%, but to get more. So how do we do that? We have to set up a standard. At the moment, we don't have a standard. You can talk as much as you like about ISM, etc. Yes, that serves a particular purpose, but as an industry, as coming away from the vessel and coming into the businesses, what rules and regulations, self-imposed, self-regulated, do we have that govern the way we do things? Are we all committed to anti-corruption? Are we all committed to anti-slavery? Are we all committed to diversity? Are we all committed to sustainability? These are basic principles which we should and could all subscribe to. And if we do that, and we include others, like without stepping into the realms of cartel, but that all of our members should require a reasonable fee for providing the ship management service, be it crew management or be it technical management, then we are going to keep this industry alive and flourishing, rather than, as I said, driving the prices down into the mire and the service and the quality down with it. Now, if I was a client, if I was a frontline, or if I was a Shell, and these are the people I've been writing to, I would want to see that, because it doesn't mean that I can't have a panel of ship managers competing against one another on price, but I know that the ones I go to will be subscribers to very basic principles. And that's all we're after, basic principles. And we can flesh this out. Once we've got the skeleton, we can flesh this out as we go forward. But it's aspirational. So there will be some, for instance, one of our principles might be to use technology, the latest technology and digitalization, to enhance the performance of our people. Some of our smaller members won't have the benefits of the performance optimization control room that Colombia's managed to put in place. That's okay, as long as they aspire to using technology for the benefit of the people and for benefit of the clients and the safety of the vessels, etc., etc. It's not a prescriptive exercise, or it shouldn't be, in my view. It should be aspirational as well. As long as we, if one of our members doesn't give a damn about sustainability or adopt any practice, doesn't give a damn about diversity and equal rights, etc., then we should be having some serious discussions with them, because they're probably not members that we want to have with our organization. It can start off very basic and grow from that. So that's
I'm saying, somehow we will create an InterManager brand. So if you're a member of InterManager, you have a certain level of compliance with and ethics and so on, yeah. But if you have to safeguard this brand, you will need to do audit of all your members, I'm afraid, and that will be a big machine. I'm just.
No, I think we keep it, Henry. It's a good question. I think we keep it simple, and there is a this business, fortunately, is ruthlessly competitive. And the next time I go to a pitch and one of the managers next to me pitches at a zero management fee, I will be raising this at an InterManager meeting, and I'll be saying, look, I'm sorry, that is not what we, on what basis do you think that is good for the industry? On what basis do you think that's good for the association? Justify yourself. And if any of us, and this has to be self-policing as well, if any of us are aware of practices practiced by some of our members that don't fall within these general principles, then there will be a reporting system to the inspector. Can you take a look at Colombia, because we've got they could improve by doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It shouldn't be something that penalizes. It should be something that encourages improvement. And who am I to say Colombia ticks, if there are boxes to tick, ticks all of the boxes at the moment? Because I can tell you it doesn't. But we aspire to, and I think that's more important than prescriptive general principles. So we're not here to exclude or penalize or sanction or throw out, but we want to take this body forward as a whole, and that may involve sharing. It may involve encouragement. It may involve discussions. So when I talk about inspectorate, I couldn't think of a better word, but I do think it needs to have teeth, because if we don't have teeth, we won't convince anybody. It's just as simple as that.
Mark, I need to stop you at this level. I sense that there is a huge need for that kind of discussion. Therefore, I would suggest in my minutes of this meeting, then we organize at the beginning of next month, as you suggested, we dedicate a meeting for this particular issue. And then we will discuss that for 60 minutes, just this thing. And I will invite, obviously, everybody who is interested in that, plus maybe our potential members. Then you don't have to be a member, but to come along and have a discussion, because this is what we are talking about.
That's precisely what we need to get on with. And, it's not my standard or anybody's or Kuba's standard. It's your standard. You decide how you want to do it. But I know what I would like to see as Colombia, and you know, we all want the good things. We all want to improve this industry, except the individual who I recently had a discussion with, for the benefit of them all. Because if people talk about ship management in a different way, then we're going to start chipping away at that 70% of clients who don't yet get it. And this industry is constrained by the low regard that the market holds it in, and that's what we've got to have the ambition and the vision and the foresight to see that and work together. And I really do think that. So we need to stand, and we need teeth, and
okay,
they can be small
we need
teeth.
to progress with our agenda now, guys, because we will not finish in time. Okay, David Furnival sends his apologies and is not able to be with us today. However, I have attended meeting with David Furnival and Eyesea. We have progressed, and by end of this week, David promised to have a draft of our memorandum of understanding where InterManager would be able to, on behalf of members, sign it with Eyesea. And obviously, it's not a must for members. It's a platform. This is an ability and facilitation. I will be sending, again, as soon as I've got this from David, links to their websites. And again, if you are interested in the project, David already had a meeting with all of us 4 weeks ago. But if there is anybody who is now just coming to this idea, please get in touch with me and I will explain. This is actually welcomed by seafarers. Seafarers are very much into it. And that's brilliant, because from the grassroots, it looks like there is a lot shipping industry and ship management can gain by showing the world what the sea is made of and how we actually take care and everything. It's in a very good context of everything. Moving on to progress reports, because you gave me some homework to do 2 weeks ago, and I need to report back to you what we've done. So Mark was already mentioning GDPR. So I went to all of you, full members, on GDPR, and I've got now 12 companies happy to join the committee. We are having a discussion about the chairing this committee as we speak, and hopefully within today, tomorrow, I will know who is the company which will be chairing GDPR committee. And then this committee will start meeting, and it will be obviously email meetings, and then maybe video calls as well. And there is very interesting approach from some members who, especially, well, I will say that word and you will probably get very upset with me, but some people have no idea what GDPR still is. And that was amazing to us. Some companies will definitely learn from what the others are already raising as a concern. For some companies, it's not a problem whatsoever, and they don't appreciate, and they might be actually in a spotlight. So there is a lot of good thing I can immediately see coming out as an educational, but also as a dealing with. Now, there was a huge discussion online and offline regarding ITF press release. I did contact ITF. They apologized, and I got it in writing. There were some problems within ITF. There was not homogeneous decision to go with the press release and putting into the spotlight. However, they would prefer at the moment, at least, not to meet with us and explain. The idea is, I still believe we need to invite Steve Cotton and get him and talk to him and maybe educate him what ship managers are and so on and so forth. But meantime, let me reassure all of you that we've got extremely good relationship with ITF on the shopping floor. So, and I will be sending you a message. Each and every of you will get a message from me, from ITF, explaining what went wrong with this press release. And I believe it is in our interest to maintain this very good working relationship. Therefore, if you do have a problem with ITF and you don't necessarily want to put your company head above the parapet, get to me, and through me, with full secrecy, if you wish, or whatever, I will deal with this issue. And so far, I can tell you, although it sounds very arrogantly of me, I have been extremely successful. Every time there was an issue with ITF, I get in touch with ITF and we solved it. So please, please, please use us. This is InterManager at full swing for you. Now, members contact list. You wanted me to create a person in charge of contacts, liaison officer. I'm delighted to tell you that I went to everybody and we've got this list now. Very often we've got 2 names per company or 3. This list is available for me now, and we will be posting this list next. Well, we already have on our website your profile. Every member of InterManager has a profile. And now we will be adding not only the name of a person sort of responsible for invoices and whatever, the contacts, but also person which is responsible for contacts between members and everything. So if you give me a week, because I'm talking to our IT guys how to introduce this one line now, and there will be a line which will be saying InterManager liaison person, and that would be an email address and yourself. I need to have a permission from all of you. Then according to GDPR, this is and blah, blah, blah. So I'm dealing with it as we speak. Now, meeting with IMO, Secretary General, this meeting is now, I wanted to say scheduled, it's very close to be scheduled now at the beginning of April. And the reason for that is that there is a lot happening at the moment with IMO. And Secretary General was not available, basically. There was not a single day in the calendar we could place him. So Paddy is coordinating with Kitax administrator responsible for meetings and everything. And I will be able to provide a date, unless Paddy, I'm watching your face now. Are you able to give us a date now or still not available? Is it 17th of April?
Yeah, I haven't heard back from her, so I'm still waiting. Let you know as soon as she comes. Thanks.
Indeed, and we will advise you. We already populating the agenda for this meeting, and obviously, if you've got anything, I'm all ears. Please send this, whatever you want us to discuss. Now, InterManager calendar. This has been set up, and it's up to date now. And if anybody of you, our members, is representing InterManager or is willing to represent InterManager on international fora, drop me a line and say, here I am. My name is Ral Harris, and I will be representing InterManager because I feel strongly about this and that. Thank you, Ral. No problem. And that's the way of promoting you, but also promoting our association. As Mark was saying, it's not mine. You pay me money to represent you. So moving on nicely to vaccination and crew changes update.
Kuba, can
Yes,
I just
sir.
pick you up on one of some of those? The GDPR committee, so otherwise we'll canter through this without having a discussion on it. Can I suggest that this is a committee that is without you, and it's a committee of those who are interested in learning about it? What we should do whenever we have these topics is we say, right, one of us acts as a point of contact, and I think we've nominated in CSM, Marinos and Dirk will circulate the details, and that they form groups and contact groups amongst themselves, because otherwise everything is focused on you and your availability, and actually it puts too much of a formal flavor to it. It's much better that those who are relevant to the discussion, and then they come to you when it's relevant, because you're not relevant to that discussion. You're relevant if they want to put something to a regulatory body. But the purpose of this was to share information amongst managers or associate members or whatever, and only come to InterManager when they want InterManager. Otherwise, you're the restrictor as well as the enabler sometimes. You know what I mean? I would let these groups of people work together by themselves, as opposed to always us InterManager trying to sort of be the spider in the web or the focal point. Is my own view.
I'm delighted to do that. So far, in the last 11 years, it never went off. Okay, I always had to kick. I always had to put the oil into it. Push. But I'm more.
But then people aren't interested in the particular topic. So we're putting GDPRs out there. Perhaps you can circulate Marinos's email. Those who want to get in touch and have meetings on it. Frankly, then we've done our bit. We don't have to control that process. We just have to initiate it. That would be my suggestion. With Steve Cotton, I think you and I disagreed on this, and for the sake of transparency, let's call it out. I wanted someone like Steve Cotton to come on, attend this and talk about ITF, not to be attacked or even criticized, but talk about the ITF and us to talk about our expectations without, we're all sophisticated people. We're not going to use this as a chance to launch an attack on him. And I think we missed a trick there. And if we keep doing this because there's a particular press release or is this or that, we're not going to introduce ourselves or develop these relationships. We are not going to develop these relationships with ITF. It's massively important for myself. It's massively important for BSM. It's massively important for all of our members to develop relationships with ITF, and sometimes come through InterManager as well. So I think let's get these people on board and we can police. If Raal or someone, I'm sorry, Raal, but your face is always on my screen. If Raal asks a question of Steve Cotton that's below the belt, we'll say, come on, no, let's pull back. But we're all sophisticated people. And I think there will be a richness in these meetings if we get these people in, if we get BIMCO, if we get other people in to talk to us and for us to talk to them in a freewheeling, polite, respectful manner. So I think we did miss a trick there, and I for one was a little bit disappointed, just for the record, that we haven't got the having the pleasure of Steve Cotton talking to us today about ITF, because I think that would have been a good thing.
Okay, Mark, point taken. Mr. Cotton will be requested again. Whether he comes or not, no idea. But be aware that BIMCO is on this call, for example. Okay. Intertanko sometimes is. I know that BIMCO is on today's call. Intertanko is always invited as well. Intercargo is invited. Not that they always attend our meetings, but very often they do. And definitely everything we are mentioning in this is being sent to those organizations as well. Not necessarily to ITF, I have to agree. ITF is not a reciprocal member of InterManager. But yeah, as you said, we disagreed on that one, and I had a very good reason for that, because I had to respect members who are being helped by ITF, big style. But I agree, no problem. I'm in a position to obviously try to get Steve on our meeting and do as you advised me. Now, moving on to vaccination and crew changes. Okay, so here is a dilemma as anybody who is representing InterManager would face. When you're attending on behalf of an organization, very often within those meetings, there is something said where it's said only under the auspices, then you are not going to take it outside of the meeting room. Now, obviously, that's conundrum for me. I'm representing and I'm supposed to report back to you. So after a huge discussion at one of the meetings, I said, then I will tell you. I'm really sorry, but I will have to tell you something what is happening at the moment with vaccination, for example. Because obviously, Mark, you are saying that you don't know what is the position of managers, and you would like to know that. That's fine. My answer now to one of your comments regarding whether Colombia can buy vaccination on the market or anybody else, because it's not only Colombia, anybody can go and buy. The answer is no. You cannot physically go and commercially purchase. There is a program called COVAX. And through this program, companies can buy and then suggest to the countries to use it. IMO, with support of NGOs, InterManager included, approached COVAX and said, can we, as a managers, as a shipping industry, put some money aside, purchase vaccinations, which then can be used in Philippines or any other countries? And the answer we have received now, only last week, is no. None of the industries can do that at the moment. And the earliest COVAX will be prepared to talk to us is end of the year. That was a huge blow for us, huge. So we were asked not to blow this out of proportion, this news, because as soon as journalists pick this up, it will be counterproductive. So I would say then you need to leave those things to your representatives who are working on your behalf with WHO, UN, European Commission, IMO definitely, and trying to work out the best possible solution for us. At the moment, as far as I'm concerned, because members are giving me feedback, is that we do want seafarers to be vaccinated on board of the ships, if possible. There is a one-shot vaccination called Johnson & Johnson, just approved by almost everybody now, and if possible at home. And this, so both things to go ahead. And that's what we are doing. And I am reporting back to all of you. And I suggest if you have questions, and Colombia has a lot of questions, and Colombia also has a lot of answers now, because we are working with these companies together. Get in touch with me, and I'm delighted, and I can take you with me to those meetings as well. That's no problem.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm not sure the point is the same. There are vaccinations available on the commercial market. There's not one of the bigger ship managers that aren't looking into commercially buying and or have secured purchases of vaccinations. And there's not one of the large operators who aren't saying to us, we want vaccinated crew on board our vessels. Now, the question is,
Mark, we know that, and I'm sorry to say that there is a lot of gossip about that. And every time we got a signal, and it's not me, IMO get a signal, then there is a commercial operator who is saying that, we say, fine. We go back to this operator, and they say, no. Misunderstanding.
Kuba, let's talk about it. We need to take a position as an association. What is wrong with trying to source vaccinations for our crew in whatever way,
Indeed,
legitimate way we can? No one said that you're not allowed to do this. All that's happening is that pressure is being put on governments, etc., to resolve the issue, but that's not inconsistent with trying as well as a fallback to sourcing vaccinations commercially, because we all know the reality. Come September, October, all organizations will be buying vaccinations for their people. Let's face it, that's the reality, because governments won't do anything, they can't do anything. So we should be sharing that information and deciding what is our position on it, because
fine. No, the position, people agree with you. Funny enough, no, people absolutely agree with you. And we are going forward, and we hear from UN, no commercial purchase allowed. Of those which are no commercial purchase allowed.
Allowed?
Not allowed. No, UN is not allowing commercial purchases. No. So that's where we are at the moment. Let me convey that again, because you're not the only one, Mark. There is a lot of people, and I'm thinking we should have another meeting just on this one, especially when it comes to Philippines, because there is a lot of happening. I've got a hand up from Svein. Svein, please go ahead.
Yeah, I cannot understand really what you say. I'm sitting in Dubai, for those of you who don't know me. Here it's commonly all the big companies, they buy. I was offered now by I've taken the COVID in Dubai, but DNO, they bought 200 slots, and they all went in, and it was done within a couple of hours. And I understand that here also a lot of companies are doing the same, and they are bringing them to Fujairah, and they are going on board the ships.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe we don't.
Svein,
it's different approach.
Svein, if you could then offline send me a message with the names of these companies, okay? I'll investigate and I'll get back to you. Every time we did that, it became hoax. It was fake news. There was one company indeed in Dubai who ordered vaccination, and it wasn't WHO approved. They ordered Chinese, or maybe Sputnik, I can't remember, which is vaccination not allowed. And then they force it on people.
Kuba, I think this is quite a. I don't see it the same way, and that's quite an important point because we're aware of Dubai, and it's not just Dubai; it's Singapore, it's everywhere. Most companies have a program of a fallback of looking to source vaccinations, and these are freely available. They're available. And at a price, but there's nothing. No one has ever said it's not allowed. Otherwise, this would be, I mean, Dubai is famous for it. Everyone's saying, come to Dubai and have a vaccination. You can put your crew through Dubai and have a vaccination, no problem at all. We need to clarify that. That would be something that we need to clarify quite quickly.
Absolutely. So I'll take it with Svein, and I'll clarify that for all of us to avoid this. And if I'm wrong, I'll put my hands up, because I am feeding to you what I'm hearing from UN and what I'm hearing from IMO and the others. Okay.
But that's it's an interesting debate. So this is exactly what we want these meetings to do. So we bring up these issues. That's good.
Very good. Edgar has a hand up. Please go ahead.
I don't want to belabor the point, but I do agree with Kuba on this one, because in the Philippines, what the workaround was to work with the government and the seller of the vaccines, and then half of what the private sector buys is given to the government. So that was the workaround. So you had private companies buying vaccines, whereas the half of that, of what they bought, is going to be donated to the Philippines. And all of these vaccines, the first batch is arriving in the second quarter of this year.
Okay, thank you for that. I need to move on, but obviously I love this discussion. That's precisely what we need to do. Now, we've got today with us Diaz, who will be presenting Georgian Seafarers, and he's got a very interesting view. How can actually young people get to sea with our help and our assistance? Diaz, over to you. You need to share your screen, please.
Good day, everyone. My name is Diaz Jalagania. I'm CEO of Nautica LLC, managing agency based in Georgia. Before I start the presentation, I would like to tell you a little bit about Georgian Seafarers. And
we are not seeing your presentation.
Just a second.
Here we go. No, you are sharing. Yeah.
Do you see it now?
Yep.
So before I start the presentation, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Georgian Seafarers and the companies they work. Georgian Seafarers have shown themselves as a very loyal and reliable officers in the big European companies such as Columbia, BSM, V-Ships, TK, OSM, NSB, Orion, and many others. But the majority of Georgian crew are officers, and Georgia has never been considered as label market for ratings, although we have a very good resource and tradition to get, and our geographic location is very convenient. In a view of favorable foreign policy of Georgia, the possibilities to employ more Georgian seafarers in merchant navy are increasing. Considering the fact that our country has a high unemployment rate and the maritime industry offers excellent conditions for employment and career growth, therefore we designed a program that will allow to increase the number of jobs and thereby provide the opportunity for financial development of all regions. Our program is aimed to improve the quality of maritime education and professional training for ratings so that certified Georgian seafarers could be in demand on the European and global markets. To join the project, people will be carefully sourced and selected through preliminary interviews and tests in order to make sure that young people entering the program are sufficiently motivated and ready to take responsibility for the decision made. They will also take an intensive English course in order to achieve a maximum academic performance during their studies. As a result, you get motivated people who will work and grow in your companies. We have 4 maritime institutions. The biggest are the Batumi State Maritime Academy, Batumi Navigational University, and 2 colleges. How much it cost? It's around $5,000 per person. Education period lasts 16 months. The price includes full course of theoretical knowledge, 6 months of ship practice included English, including engine and bridge simulators, intensive English course, a medical examination, Siemens book, and also ISTA-CW certification. Where do we get the money from? Of course, it's bank. Graduates will have to pay the bank the cost of education within 3 years after employment, so that the seafarer can comfortably repay the loan. Our big advantages is that we do not need visa to Schengen countries, and the US C1D visa is granted for 10 years. As you see on map, visa-free countries are green. And the wage scale is really very competitive. Yeah, we arranged different wage scale for different type of vessels. Another advantage is the Georgian certificates are 100% legal and can be verified online. Another advantages, sorry, there is some, yeah. I would like to pay special attention to the loyalty of our seafarers. In 80% of cases, they stay and work in the same company for years. Stability is the most important factor for Georgian seafarers. Another competitive advantage includes wage scale and loyalty, as I mentioned earlier, the high qualifications, excellent communication skills, no alcohol abuse, and the low rate of pain die cases, which is very, very important. And in conclusion, I'd like to say, I'd like to show you a small video with a randomly selected cadets to demonstrate our potential. Thank you very much for your attention, and please do not hesitate to contact me if you need amazing solutions, and we have a very good pool of qualified officers to offer to you. So we are ready for that. So this video.
When my parents asked me who I wanted to become in the future, I remember me saying seafarer without any hesitation. Mostly it's because of my family's traditions, but it's also a great opportunity to travel around the world and to get high salary as well.
I believe that a seafarer's life is full of adventures, and also you can make a lot of friends of different cultures and nationalities.
For me, it's an honor to be a part of the Seafarers Brotherhood. I believe that it drives the world's economy.
I was looking for a career path in which I could see myself reaching my maximum potential and learning a lot about this world.
First of all, I'd say that it's strict discipline, respect towards those higher in rank, and good knowledge in general. I believe a good officer is reliable, responsible, mature person with good communication skills and emotional intelligence.
Good knowledge to reduce risks and not to be afraid of challenges.
Responsibility, excellent communication skills, and self-control.
Responsibility, self-control, compliance, and integrity.
Clarifying responsibilities. It should be properly distributed and well understood
to avoid any confusion or blaming each other for their failures.
Most importantly, I'd say that you have to be able to trust your team. You have to be responsible, and you have to always listen to everybody's opinion.
It's building trust among your teammates and maintaining open communication.
All crew members must trust each other and do their jobs as perfect as it's possible.
I think it's learning your teammates' abilities, and there also should be trust between team members.
I'd like to work for a company which puts forward safety and environmental protection as their primary values.
I haven't chosen one yet, but safety will be my top concern.
My dream is to work on a big passenger ship, but the most important thing for me is the company's experience with female officers.
Thank you, Diaz. If you could stop sharing your screen. Thank you. We've got 3 minutes left. Svein, I see your hand up. Are you still willing to ask a question, or is it left from... Okay, from behind then. Very good. Diaz, impressive people. I like the knowledge, and the English actually was superb. But tell me one thing, if I may start asking questions here. We are hearing from many quarters of our industry, there is shortage of young people going to sea. There is, shortage of seafarers allegedly, but I am hearing from our members that you've got plenty of people and you've got problem to place them actually. There are not enough ships for them by the look of it. What do you think in Georgia? Do you really believe that you've got young people who would be willing to come?
Thank you, Kuba. Yeah, definitely. A lot of young cadets are graduating the institutions, and as you see, the level of English there is really very good, and they are extremely motivated because at the present time, I do know that the majority of Georgian youth are looking forward to go at sea because, as I mentioned earlier, the career of seafarer. First of all, I love this career. I'm also a seafarer, and many Georgian guys, they are entering academy, navigational university, colleges. And but the main problem is that they graduate but cannot be employed. So due to lack of the number of companies, for example, who are ready to take them on board.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Now I understand that. That's why I was asking, because obviously we've got a lot of companies all over the world trying to place the seafarers on board of the ships, and there are no ships available. I am very conscious of the time. I need to wrap up this meeting. We've got 1 minute left, actually. So
can I just say, Kuba, Diaz, thank you for the presentation. Colombia has over 1,000 Georgian seafarers within its seafarers pool, crewing pool, and they are some of our best. And I can only recommend, or I can't recommend enough, Georgian seafarers to all of our all of our members. We've had a very close relationship with Georgia ever since we had Georgian Shipping Company, which then wasn't anymore, but we've maintained really strong links, and some of the very highest and the very lowest in our business are from Georgia, and also ashore in our offices as well. So can't recommend Georgians enough as a people and as seafarers. So Diaz, thank you very much for that. Just on the point before we wrap up, on the point of vaccinations again, I've just made some checks, and it's not unlawful to purchase vaccinations through government organizations or medical organizations in any country. What is unlawful is to purchase vaccinations as a commercial organization to administer yourself. So that's why you have the ability in Dubai to rotate your seafarers through and purchase vaccinations for them, administered by properly authorized organizations within those jurisdictions. And I think that's important. And, you know, I think we need, as an organization, as association, to think, what is our position on this? And when in 5 or 6 or 7 months' time, a large body of our seafarers remain unvaccinated and our clients are demanding vaccinated seafarers, quite rightly. I mean, you know, they're perfectly at liberty to do that. What is our position and how do we resolve that? Just something to think about. I don't think we need to come up with a solution straight away, but any knowledge like Dubai, etc., that we have, we should be pooling this knowledge and have a fallback position, because we may have to react quite quickly. If half of our seafarers, Georgian or otherwise, remain unvaccinated and our clients are demanding vaccinated crew, we've got a problem on our hands as crew managers. So I think we need to be proactive and not wait for others necessarily to do the work for us, but just to put it out there.
Very good, Mark. Thank you. And just for the records, obviously, InterManager is set up one of the working forces there called Vaccination Task Force. And I was supposed to be in a meeting today, but it was 10 o'clock, so I couldn't. I've just skipped that meeting. Okay, it's 1 minute behind. The guillotine is down. Thank you very, very much for everybody attending. There will be a minute coming out of this meeting. Goodbye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Stay well.
You too. Bye.
Bye, Kuba. Thank you.